Hello there everybody, welcome back to Groundswell Ecosystems YouTube channel and to Project Alteration, Ultimate Home Couture. Make the ordinary extraordinary, slow down fast fashion, covet what you own and glam it up for Mother Earth. Yes! Okay. Today is the 6th video in the series of the key skills on how to alter your garments. We've had making a garment bigger. Of course, I've done that with a dress. It doesn't make any difference. You can do the same rules apply, the same principles apply. You can do that with any type of garment, male, female, gendered, non-gendered, whatever it is. So we started off with making a garment bigger, making it smaller, making it longer, making it shorter. Okay. Then in the last video, we looked at how to take garments and how to embellish them. And I showed you the samples of various techniques. You can, of course, completely develop your own. I love this idea of taking garments and building them up and building them up and building up. This is an age-old technique that people have always done throughout history. They've made garments extra special. And I believe that right now, in terms of an environmental context, it gives us a fantastic opportunity to reinvent the wheel. Let's reinvent the wheel. And consider how we own things, and consider that when we slow down our consumption, we don't get less, we can get more. We can create stuff which is completely bespoke, and bespoke means tailored. It's the original tailoring word. Bespoke means just for you, only for you. Every single person, I believe, has this amazing creative spark within them. I absolutely know that. It's part of being human. I promise you it is. And I think that there's something really lovely when you create something which is entirely for yourself and for your own aesthetic. Right. So today we are going to be talking about the 6th key skill for alteration, which is how to entirely resculpt and remake a garment. Basically, you're chopping off bits of this and that here and there, and you're throwing them onto other places. What I want to say as well is I want to advise everybody. My advice would be go and invest in a 50 quid second-hand sewing machine. Put it on a fold-up table somewhere. They cost 30 quid online, all right? They're not single-use plastics. They're repeatables, okay? They're a serious resource. Set it up and start playing around with the clothes you no longer like, the clothes you no longer wear, and start experimenting with what it's like to rethink what you own and to rethink your own attitude to what it is to make things, all right? Because that is something that basically is part of our human evolution. When we make things, we are, in a sense, we are changing things according to our needs and our wants, and there is something very, very primordial and very, very profound in that. So of course I had to give this all this like big philosophical, this is a bit of a hard sell, I swear to you. A friend of mine says I'm a loss to the shopping channel, which is an embarrassment, but there you go. Right, so today we're going to be talking about entirely resculpting garments. The first one that I'm wearing right now, is something I'm actually really fond of. Once upon a time, I'm gonna move it to the camera. There we go. All right. There you go. Let me just quickly show you this. This has got short sleeves here. All right. It's got this frill down the far front, and it's got a tapering in here. And also, and I'm not going to show you the full leg, but I am going to show you a split down the side. Woo! There you go. A couple of those, as a matter of fact. Reversing, reversing, reversing. Yes. Hello, hello, hello. Right. What this originally was this kind of quite intense kaftan that absolutely made me feel like I was trading oil from the desert, bluntly put. Okay, bluntly put. And what I did, the sleeves were long. These were on the ends of the sleeves. Okay, so I chopped them off because I wanted something rather more baroque. I don't know if any of you ever watched the program Versailles, but it seems to have been quite formative in terms of my aesthetic. I love all of that messed up extra stuff, you know, everything's a bit extra. It's like you eat a cake, you do a bit of gambling, you know what I'm saying, you go for like a bath in a fountain. You know what I'm saying, like busy. So I wanted to have something that was less, you know, oil trader and more kind of baroque. So I snipped off the sleeves which contained this lace here, and I gathered them up and added them on as an extra frill here. There you go, the sleeves are shortened. Okay, and what I did is I turned it, well obviously I turned it inside out, it didn't just happen by waving a magic wand. And I slimmed down the sides to create something which is, and I put the slits in because I wanted something that was less kind of swooshing down the road like that, you know what I'm saying, less sort of, right, so there you go. So this is a complete recreation of something which was effectively a long-sleeved, not a recreation, an alteration of something which was a long-sleeved caftan. Okay, took those off, created the frills here, and I kind of baroqued it up. As I said, I wanted something, you know, all these terrible sort of oligarchical visions of choice. Is I wanted something more Versailles and less oil trader. Yes. Now what we've got here is the black satin dress. I'm just going to quickly zoom in here to show you that this here, this frill, was taken off the edge of the sleeve that really was down, a full-on caftan sleeve. Chopped that off, took the edge brocade off, gathered it up and put it on here to create this really extra baroque vibe, which is what I wanted. Chopped off the sleeves, hemmed them, simple little light hem, and then here slimmed out the dress to give it slightly more shape. There you go. So those are the three things that I did on the top. Kept the length, and then here just added in some slits down the side, which really just meant that I took apart the seam and then folded over right on the edge. A little hem, a tiny little hem. And there you go. Yes. It's so Antiques Roadshow. The next piece I want to show you, all right, it's like a bit Aladdin's lamp. The next piece I want to show you is this little kimono. I love a kimono. I think many people like kimonos. You can just hurl them over things. They're very light and summery. Right. So what I'm going to show you here, even before I put it on, again, I'm like shimmying up to the camera. You see this? You see there is the original kaftan, is that tie-dyed bit. I wanted something, and it just didn't have any swoosh to it. It was swoosh free. I mean, really, what's the point of a kaftan unless it's got a bit of swoosh? That's a philosophical point. All right, that's a whatever. That's a basic ground rule. All right, it needs a bit of swoosh. So I put on this extra yellow fabric, this golden yellow fabric, around the edges, around the bottom, and onto the sleeves. Let me put it on right now. So while I'm here, I might as well do like a full. There you go. If anybody's nice to me in real life, I actually want to mention them in like the video. That's for you, David James Kelly. So there you go. It's got a lot more swoosh now. Can you imagine how little swoosh it had before? Minus these yellow bits. Unacceptable. An unacceptable lack of swoosh. Swear to you. Right. So there we go. There's kimono. Again, I want to do some more swooshing. That's for you, Freddie. Right. Like proper delusions of grandeur. That's for you, Econ. Right, wait. That's for you, Anna. This is like anyone who's been nice to me in the last week. Okay then, now I've laid out the embroidery table, which is now what I've taken to calling it, because there are bits of embroidery underneath on these tablecloths, to show you these garments inside and out. Here we go. I've added on extra panels on the sleeves here, extra panels on the front of the kimono, and extra panels along the bottom of the kimono. There you go. All right. You can see them down the front, the sleeves, and the bottom. Okay, all that was needed to be done here. I did this on the overlocker. It doesn't matter if you don't have an overlocker, just use your straight stitch and zigzag and you'll be absolutely fine. When you play around with adding in more fabric to a garment, you should be fine. Right, now this is the next follow through. Here we go. So I want to actually put this back on and do some more swooshing. This one's for you, Margaret. This one's for you, Sandra. This one's for you, Priya. I don't have that many friends. This is just people who've put up with me over the last week. Right, yes. So this next one, I just want to show you here, coming up close to the camera. I want to just show you what this was. This originally had some horrible sleeves. Oh, unacceptable. Don't try me. Right, unacceptable, horrible sleeves. Just going back a bit. It was this long kaftani thing. Again, I think from charity, I'm fairly certain. I will make it shorter at some point in time. I'm not going to make another video about that. We've covered that skill. Right. But what I wanted to show is I didn't like just the straight thing. So I took these bits of fabric, created these ties, sewed them on at the back, and then used them to, in fact, create an empire line dress. Right, so here we go. So that comes round the front, and there it creates a dress with some shape. Really what you need to do when you're thinking about remaking things is it's simply a case of, what do I want? Put the fabric into where you want it to be and find out a way to keep it there. And that is like one of the most elementary aspects of design. Put it where you want it to be and find out how to keep it there. Right? You can make some really, really, really interesting things that way, I promise you. Now you might wonder, with my swooshing and my carrying on and my empire line and all this, like, where did I train? What did I do? You know, did I go to St. Martin's or whatever? No, I went nowhere. I went Sunday afternoon. Mom, the thread's broken, come and fix the sewing machine now. I am a self-taught person. I've been doing this since I was like a little thing. And I do create patterns from scratch. I design things from scratch. I create patterns. It's a great thrill to have an idea, and to see the idea through is a great thrill. So yes, in terms of this alteration stuff, there is more, fundamental skills that underpin this, which is really making something from the very beginning. And you don't have to get into that. You can get into that. Inevitably, as your skills develop, you will get into that. But anyhow, there you go. So it's a kind of an instant empire line that's been created there just through these ties. Right, that's the point. It's the ingenuity. You can find out new solutions again and again and again. Right, I'm showing you this blue dress from the inside out. And particularly the point I want to show you here is what happened when I cut off the sleeves. Literally, cutting off the sleeves, I just folded over a couple of times to create a proper hem for the new sleeve openings, which were, obviously slimmer sleeves, etc. There you go. Nothing else needed to change. That's very easy. If you don't like sleeves, chop them off, just hem them, okay? Make them shorter. Here you go. Again, what I did down the side, just to create more sort of movement with it, is I did put in some slits as well. Right? Hem the bottom. And now I'm going to turn it inside out for the front side so that I can show you the straps to create the ties around the front. Actually attached to the back of the dress. You can see here's the back area. It goes right up to the top of the neck. Here, these straps, I think I just found them from excess bits of fabric. These straps, and created them. These straps I've attached to something here on the back. I did slightly double edge this. I created another little panel inside to increase its strength. You can see there, so it didn't get torn. Put that in the back, and then very strongly sewed it there so that it was strong. So these straps are just attached at the back like that. Then when I turn the dress around, and again I say this can apply to any garment, when I turn the dress around and tie the straps at the front, you will see how that effect is created. So now we're on the front side of the dress, and we see the straps coming out from the back. And all that would happen there, as I showed earlier on, is that those come around the front and they tie. And that's a really simple way of changing the line of a dress or of any type of garment. Okay? As I said, put it where you want it to be and find a way for it to stay there. That really is ingenuity. Go with the simple options, the simple solutions. They really can work. Zooming in, that's a bit of check. Zooming out, what I want you to see is that, again, this was clearly I'm a fan of the kaftan. I never recovered from kaftan love. All right, so this is like, again, right, a kaftan. What happened here is it was just, again, had that wideness. Sometimes that's great, sometimes you just don't like that. All right. So what I did here is I'm going to bring this close to the camera, and I'm going to show you. I put on a satin ribbon around the outside, and then put some satin ribbon through that had been attached around the front, and then bada binga, tie it up. I wanted a nice long bow. Tie it up, and you've got, again, something which has just got a little bit more shape. All right, now clearly I tend to sort of favour some kind of Jane Austen-esque empire line, but really you will do that in for whatever suits your own shape. All right, so there you go. I've added that on, and it created shape in the garment. Again, just think simple. What is the problem and how would you fix it? Just think simple, and you'll start to create that solution. It's that ingenuity that will constantly expand your skills as you play around and play around and play around. There you go, okay? Swoosh, 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 kaftan. Kaftan given shape, that's the point. There you go. And here's the checked dress, which again was another kaftan, which was fairly sort of shapeless. Just want to zoom down the side here. There you go. Show you the whole length there. Just want to quickly zoom in to what happened here. I didn't like the fact that it was shapeless, so I took some black satin ribbon and I put it on the outside of the garment, all of the way around. It basically creates like a little tie, a tie opening for this ribbon, which creates the front tie to come in. So what happens here is, as I showed you before, this gets tied up. All right, this gets tied up, and it turns into the bow. There you go. So basically, the tie has been put in place, and the ribbon is put right through, and that can gather it all up to create a more defined line. It happens to have a high waist, that's absolutely fine. It's basically empire line, but it just creates more shape in the garment. There are easy ways to do that. It's literally, as I said, put it where you want it to be and find out how to keep it there. Marvelous. Okay, so I've shown you some of the key elements of restructuring. Chopping sleeves off, putting in ways to create different types of waistlines. Of course, you could have done that lower, higher, as you please. Adding on extra bits of fabric to create far more, volume, more body, more swoosh, all right? Shown you about the chopping off of sleeves, shown you about the taking apart of bits of brocade and creating frills. But what I have actually done is I've saved the pièce de résistance, the real triumph of work from this last period of time, which I've been making these videos, for somebody who actually sent in an example of what she's done. And it's completely and totally extraordinary. It had me like stunned. All right, her name is Eva. Eva, hello. Sorry, this is like so like child on the boat. Hello, Eva. All right, what Eva did, extraordinary. She didn't just create little bits of this and that or reshape or whatever it is. She's completely created a new garment from a man's old check shirt. She created, it's the most extraordinary piece of work. She created this incredible bikini. Okay. The work is simply extraordinary. It is one of the most chic, most funky, most brilliant things I've seen in a very, very long time. I know I'm going to be seeing Eva soon, and I'm going to be taxing her and questioning her about, her skills and what she's doing, etc., 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 because I absolutely applaud her talent. I think that she's incredibly talented, and I think she's done absolutely amazingly here. I think the thing for me is it's kind of like, I'm sure you could kind of look at these videos and go like, that woman, is she obsessed with clothes? Or it's not so much that, adaptation, okay? I'm obsessed with what we can do to create adaptations to environmental issues. And as I've said a few times, I am a work in progress and I am learning. You know, people talk about their superpowers. Definitely my superpower, and I know this from many years of finessing this, my superpower is to make a fool of myself. And part of that is I'm actually sharing my learning with you and hoping, as I said, for feedback, all right, and for commentary and for learning with me. What Eva did is, bless her, amazingly, she showed this amazing creation, and that was an inspiration to me, and I hope also an inspiration to you. Please feel free to send me any photographs at any point in time, and I'll definitely put them in a video, photographs of things that you make, things that you do. I was inspired. The point for me is not so much that I sit around making clothes, because you know something, there's like, I've been doing this forever. It's really that I take that skill and put it into an environmental context and hopefully stimulate a debate that changes the conversation, that contributes to distilling a type of thinking around ownership and around our concepts of ownership as being very, you know, we own and we discard very quickly. That's a very modern phenomenon. That historically people owned things for a lot longer. Their concepts of ownership was that it increased in value for the time that it was used and the amount of use that you got from it. It didn't decrease in value when it had been owned for some time. It was the very opposite, and that's what I'm trying to say here. And I want to say thank you to Eva for bringing in something which shows such incredible levels of inspiration. As I said, please send me anything and I will always put them in the videos. I will always credit you, etc. Of course, I'm not so much interested in just my frocks. I'm much more interested in your frocks. I'm much more interested in your garments, in what you do with this idea, how you can be creative and ingenious with this idea. And I'll be going on this in with my design stuff, is that I'm fascinated by the process of when you teach people design, because what happens is it brings out something which is really kind of primary and excited and, yeah, quite childlike in the best sense of the word, is that it shows people I can have an idea and I can make that idea. And that is something, I have to say this, proper Gandalf vibes this evening, like swooshing and mentioning people by name. Oh, like terrible. I have to say this. The ability to have an idea and to make it, which we all have, it's fundamental to human nature, is something very profound. It is profound. And playing and learning and making mistakes, yeah, it's all a good thing. Thank you to Eva for sending in those photographs, for enlightening this video with her incredible work. I can't wait to see more stuff that she does. Thank you to everybody for subscribing. Okay, now this is what the YouTubers do. I'm not honestly just trying to copy YouTubers. Right, here we go. They do this a lot. I want to seem like a real YouTuber. They do this. Right, there's a subscribe button. Press subscribe and then press the bell, and then it'll show you that you get notifications when new videos come up. In the forthcoming months, I'm going to be looking at other environmental issues and looking at trying to find ways to contribute to them in a personal way. My website, groundswellecosystems.com, is about looking at systemic and everyday steps to an eco-positive groundswell, ways in which we can link the big issues with our direct, personal, daily actions. And as I said a million times before, despite the swooshes and the acting like Gandalf, I'm 100% a work in progress. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Please feedback to me. Knock me on the head nicely. Educate me. I'm open to it. Thank you, everybody. See you next time.